your boy Town Biz. So, I'm gonna try to, show restraint on this video, and I'm gonna try to, on this video because just so much I want to say about Smith, and you know, due to this platform, you can't really, go in on a dude and say what you really want to say because at the end of the day you have certain people that will try to flag your videos and they go after certain platforms and stuff. It's a lot of inconsistency here, and inconsistency is the key word when it pertains to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has a history of going in and relentlessly attacking black athletes, but then he doesn't show the same energy towards white athlete. He tries to soft shoot, and then when he gets called out on it, then he tries to come with a response, trying to wag his finger and try to talk all tough. At the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith has a serious yellow streak. He is the cowardly lion, as you guys know, or if you guys don't know, I had a slight confrontation with Stephen A. Smith back in Los Angeles at Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 1 when I seen him, at the Ritz-Carlton / JW Marriott. So, I basically confronted him about some of the stuff that he says on TV. And I asked him, did he really believe some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth? And he doesn't. At the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith likes being a lapdog and a flunky for ESPN. He has a history of doing it. Now, we all know the story, the backstory, the cover up in behind Josh Giddey, because that's basically what it was. It was a cover up, via the NBA, mainstream media, ESPN, and then basically on social media, a lot of people on social media elected not to talk about this because at the end of the day, he's white, and they feel like talking about white athletes or white people in general doesn't lead to big ratings. We all know when you demonize black men, people will draw interest because at the end of the day, people have interest, hatred, jealousy, everything you could think of towards black men, all rolled up in one. So I look at Stephen A. Smith history, and he is on the wrong side of history on how he loves to go in on black men versus white men. Now, keep in mind, when Dana White was on video, basically slapping his wife, even though she hit him first, Stephen A. Smith tried to soft shoe it. He tried to talk around it, saying Dana White is my friend and all this kind of stuff. But when the media called him out, people such as myself, Tori and Rain, Two Raw Media, Kwame Brown, all of a sudden he tries to come back with a response saying that they don't run away from anything. And it's obvious that they run away from certain things. You shouldn't have to call Stephen A. Smith out to keep it even keel. But it just proves that these guys watch our videos, and it just goes to show you the impact that we have. Now, Malika Andrews, I'm going to get to her later on. I'm definitely going to address her and prove what a coward she is and a fake advocate for, fairness in sports and women's rights. She's fake. And so is Molly Quam, or Molly the Worm, what she should be called because she's a worm, But let's look at Stephen A's history. Like I said before, they went out of their way to demonize Ray Rice, what happened with his wife. They said they were appalled, it was disgusting, and all this kind of stuff. Ray Rice has never played a NFL down since that happened. But Dana White, being the president of UFC, and Dana White has bosses. He works for Endeavor. He could be removed. He didn't receive any type of punishment. Basically, he did is issue a fake apology, and pretty much life moves on. But Stephen A. Smith is relentless in going after black men, which makes him a coward. Now, keep in mind, he admitted that he has something personal against Kyrie Irving. Now, we all know Kyrie's Kyrie Irving stands on taking the potion. You know, we all know Kyrie Irving stands on. Yeah, I remember that. I made several videos about that. We all know Kyrie Irving stands on taking the potion, and the media went after him. They ran his name through the mud. I mean, they just relentlessly went after Kyrie Irving, demonizing this man for basically his right as a human being. Now, keep in mind, there were other athletes that were vocal about, not wanting to, take the potion. John Stockton was very vocal about it, and Conor McGregor spoke out against it. And we all know Conor McGregor has had incident after incident outside of MMA, and they've said next to nothing. Conor McGregor has had incident with elderly gentlemen. He's had alleged incidents with women. He's been accused of doing the unthinkable. But did you see ESPN do a long segment, a panel on Conor McGregor or Dana White until they got called out? And he only did a segment on Dana White because he got called out about it. And other media outlets were calling him out about his inconsistency. He said nothing about all the incidents that pretty much happened with Conor McGregor. And we all know if a white athlete gets in trouble, they're going to do a quick run-by segment like they did with Josh Giddey. But then he tells us they want to be responsible with Josh Giddey and tells us to wait till the facts come out. But you don't want to wait till the facts come out with the brothers. Josh Giddey has lawsuits against him pending. People were asking questions and calling out the NBA. Josh Giddey right now has enough to be suspended, at least for 10 games. There's sufficient evidence to suspend him. Adam Silver has done next to nothing. So to distract us from the Josh Giddey situation, they start bringing up stuff about John Morant as a distraction, thinking that they slick. No, they're not slick. And they really, and that also, and they really rarely said anything about Chad Wheeler as well. They didn't say nothing about War Machine. War Machine was a white MMA fighter who broke into his ex-girlfriend's house, assaulted her, her significant other. He beat her within an inch of her life. But there was no cry for outrage. Yeah, War Machine is in jail right now, but they swept that story under the rug. But then Stephen A. Smith wants to holler about and wag his finger. Oh, it's never an excuse to do this and do that. So he shows inconsistency, and he's been showing it. He's a TB watermelon man. He's a butter biscuit eater. They never show the same energy until you start calling them out. He ran Kyrie Irving's name through the mud. One for his stance on taking the potion, not wanting to take the potion, to be exact. Made a big deal out of him tweeting that he's going to watch a damn movie. And then once again, to no avail, all these dudes that like wagging their finger and talking tough to black athletes, no Shaquille O'Neal, no Charles Barkley, they ain't nowhere to be found when it came to Josh Giddey. So all these dudes are exposed as being the cowardly lion. Fake TB tough guys. And this is factual. Go check out what John Stockton had to say about, taking a potion. He forced Gonzaga to roll back on their, you have to take the potion to enter sporting events. He basically told them to take off all the, take out all the paraphernalia that, celebrated him being, once a student at Gonzaga. But nobody said nothing about him. Nobody went after him, but they strictly set their sights on Kyrie Irving. You know, they didn't say nothing about Carson Wentz getting a religious exemption. Kirk Cousins allegedly got a religious exemption, but they didn't go after them. What were they saying? That's their personal business. So isn't it Kyrie Irving's personal business if he elected not to? But they knew it was easy to slander him because keep in mind, they was pushing that agenda, more so the dummies. But I don't want to make this about politics. We know what was going on. Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers flat out lied about taking the potion. But you didn't see Stephen A. Smith. He's just said, "Oh, I'm disappointed in Aaron Rodgers," and he had to get called out by Jay Will and say, "Hey man, you're not showing the same energy." He got called out by his own constituents. Because even he knew what he was doing. At the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith said out of his own mouth, he said every day he figure out how he can make his superiors, his white zaddies and his and his cocoons, money, and how could he get some of it. So he already admitted he's a bought man, that he's a paid man. You already know he's a watermelon man, that he's a biscuit eater. But the thing about him, don't even try to respond and try to say that you're not what people think you are and have proven that you are. You are a house Negro. You are a handkerchief head. You are a watermelon man. You are a biscuit eater. Just own up to it. Don't try to wag your finger and call yourself responding to people for calling you out. Don't try to talk tough because we all know you're not going to do anything. We all saw what you did when I confronted you. I didn't want to have a physical altercation with you. I just wanted to talk to you. That's it. I just wanted to have a conversation with you. You took off. You ran. Like a sniveling coward that you are. But that's fine. You're not obligated to talk to me. You were the one that said you will talk to somebody on the streets. You embrace debate. And that's all I wanted to do is have a conversation with you, and you took off. Yeah, it did. Vegas, Deb, it did. Did. We all saw what, like I said, we all saw what Stephen A. Smith did when I confronted him. But he got security down, so he'll make sure that don't happen again. And that's why he got so hurt. That's why he was so hurt when T.O. basically said, "Damn, man, Max be out blacking you." I mean, at the end of the day, man, have some dignity, man, have some self-respect. But that's what happens when you under the thumb of people, that run ESPN. You have no freedom. You're a paid man. You're a bought man. And one thing I could say, at least here, I could say pretty much what I want to say within limitations. I could call Stephen A. Smith out and I could tell the truth about this dude. He never displays the same energy. We all see what he does. And then he sat up there and let ESPN use him as the fall guy to defend another coward and Malika Andrews. Because I'm going to respond to her. I'm going to respond to her too. The Kyrie Irving thing and the Von Miller thing was basically a distraction. Because they didn't want us to talk about Josh Giddey because they did a piss poor job of covering the Josh Giddey thing and defending him and taking cover for him. So now you see how Adam Silver get down. You see how the NBA get down. They will protect anybody as long as they don't have melanin in them. They will make every excuse and beat around the bush, and they'll tell us to be logical. And they'll tell us to wait till the facts. How come they can't wait till the facts come out when it comes to the brothers? And Stephen A. Smith kept putting emphasis. Oh, I don't care what the excuse is. Oh, it's never an excuse to put your head. Okay, let me unpack that too. Let me unpack that, how ridiculous that sounds. We got to be truthful about some of these things. To sit up there and say it's never an excuse to put your hands on listen, violence is wrong, period, unless you are of grave danger. So if a woman has a gun and shooting at me and I have a weapon, I'm not supposed to shoot back because she's a woman. So if a woman is trying to stab me with a knife, I'm not supposed to defend myself because she's a woman. So let me get this straight. I'm supposed to sit up there and die. In certain situations, gender don't have nothing to do with it. Race don't have nothing to do with it. None of that stuff. If your life is in danger, it doesn't matter whether it's a woman, half a man, in between, a bisexual, trisexual, whatever. If your life is in jeopardy, by all means, if you are a woman and a man is a threat to you, you have a right to defend yourself, defend your family, and defend whoever's around you. And the same thing, if the woman is a threat and you a man, you have every right to protect yourself, your family, and whoever you need to protect at that time. So to sit up there and say that you're not supposed to respond or defend yourself against violence because the person is because of gender, gender, that is absolutely absurd. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. Let me tell you something. If my life is in danger, I don't care who it is. At that time, I'm not going to see race. I'm not going to see gender. I'm not going to see none of that stuff. I'm going to do whatever it takes to survive. So to sit up there and try to come up with these falsehoods and these fake narratives is just absurd and it's fucking ridiculous. So anybody that talks that stuff is disingenuous. So Stephen A. Smith is being disingenuous. When you start asking those questions and start putting, those discussions up for debate, people get quiet. So you say that's the dumbest thing to say, that there's never an excuse to put your hands or defend yourself against. Oh, please stop it. Stop it. Take your cape off. Stop it. You sound stupid. You sound ridiculous. Oh man, Junie, man, he got, he got shanked, he got shanked, and he not here no more. Oh, why? Because it was a woman, she had a weapon. She kept stabbing him and he refused to defend himself because it was a woman. So now he ain't here. You know how stupid that sound? That's the most dumbest thing I ever heard. See, that's the problem. This day and age, you got to come up with falsehoods and fake narrative. Like I said, that's the most absurd thing you could ever say. You sound stupid. See, that's why they would never let me on a panel, because I would diffuse and debunk that with ease. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times the media is about brainwashing you and lying to you. And that's what they do on a regular basis. That sounds absurd. Anybody that's honest. You mean to tell me if somebody trying to hurt you or take you off this planet, you saying that you're not going to defend yourself because of their gender? Exactly, Vegas Dave. Like I said, bro, when it comes to that, if it come to my life or her life and they trying to harm me, okay, so let me get this straight. If they try to take my life, I supposed to spare theirs? Do that make any kind of sense? So if a woman start busting at me and I have, and I have a tool on me, I'm not supposed to bust back because that's a woman? Like I said, that sounds stupid. That sounds absurd. For real. It sounds ridiculous. So please shut that shit up. That doesn't make any kind of sense whatsoever. He can't even. The funny thing is, he ain't even a good one at that. He ain't even a good captain. You see that nobody don't try to save him. That man continues to make a fool out of himself. He loves to be a TV jester. He loves to be the comic relief and, basically the media punching bag. But if he love it, I like it. Yeah, shout out to Malcolm X. For real. But I just wanted to put that out there, put that notion out there, because like I said, that sounds absurd. That sounds absurd. Like I said, could you imagine? Hey man, somebody come to your house and then there's some women outside and they busting at you. They lighting your house up like a Christmas tree, and you got weapons at the house. And people saying, "Hey man, I can't bust back." Why? Be like, "Hey man, they told man they busted at you. You got any gats?" "Oh yeah, man, I got hella gats up in here. I can't bust back." Why? Because they women. That sounds stupid. Because I could promise you, and I can name several cases where the police have shot women and harmed women, and they wasn't talking about it's never an excuse to do anything. How many times have you heard about a fatal deletion of a woman by the boys in blue? Were they using that gender stuff then? So that sounds stupid. That doesn't make any kind of sense whatsoever. I'm on it tonight because it needed to be said. Can we be honest? Of course, Malika Andrews would throw him under the bus. She tried to come on there and call herself trying to check him. Now, let me get this straight. She don't have no problem protecting white women that step out on their husband that just was basically being a whore. But she's supposed to be an advocate and call herself a black woman, but then she don't call out Christoph Porzingis for basically kidnapping and allegedly doing the unthinkable to a black woman, saying that she was going to be a slave. But she could bring up other people's past. So, I mean, there you have it. And then she tried to Me Too Jalen Rose. Shout out, Chase. All the man did is touch her shoulder. Listen, touching somebody doesn't mean it's meant to be intimate. Listen, when I go to work every day, guys give me a pat on the shoulder saying what's up and all that kind of stuff. It's nothing. Is how guys, it's called male bonding. That's how guys communicate with each other. Said, "Hey, good job." Now, if the dude grabs my private parts or rubs on my buttocks, okay, then that's a totally different story. Then we have a problem. But just touching a woman on the shoulder and all that kind of stuff doesn't mean that it's something sensual. People have taken stuff and just ran with it. Or actually, they haven't taken something and ran with it. They basically got on a bicycle or a motorcycle and put it in high gear and put it in fourth gear and went to, max speed. There's a difference between, like I said, and this is why a lot of times when you hear about these incidents involving men and women, sometimes a dude is hesitant to believe the woman because of history, because of how easy it is for a woman to basically accuse a man of something and destroy his reputation. A man's reputation can be destroyed overnight just based off accusations without proof. But then it's next to impossible to prove this situation in reverse. It's okay for a woman to walk up to you at the job and say, "You look like you got somebody, I didn't have women tell me that. Say, "Oh, you look like you got a big, what?" And all that kind of stuff. "Oh, you look like your tongue game is on point." I've had women say this stuff to me. Wouldn't that qualify as being, harassed? And then if you a man and you try to report it, you're demonized and shamed for it. Oh man, you should be flattered. It ain't about being flattered. We at work. We're working. Inappropriate. But then if a woman say that I don't like how he looks at me, then next thing you know, you getting called into human resources, the human resource office, and they saying they're running an investigation. And then depending on how much they like you, they can sit up there and say, "We have to let you go." Next thing you know, you out of a job and you have to go home and try to explain to your wife or explain to your kid that you basically lost your job and don't know how you're going to be able to pay these bills and maintain living because somebody just accused you of something. Like I said, look what happened to Trevor Bauer. Reputation ruined. Look what happened to Jonathan Majors. Ruined. Haven't even been to court yet. Ruined. So I'm just saying, look what happened to Johnny Depp. Destroyed. Nah, I appreciate y'all because, like I said, this stuff got to be said. It's amazing that we can't have real conversation about certain things like that, especially with mainstream media, because they about pushing agendas and telling lies. Just like they've been telling us these lies about the Dimma dummies for the last 50 years, where we could clearly make an argument that the Dimma dummies have hurt us just as much as the Redumblicans. Because I don't trust neither of them. Yeah, there's no video evidence of anything with Floyd. Now there is a little bit of evidence with Tank, but at the same time, if you're gonna be mad at Tank, you got to be mad at Dana White. Once again, you got to have the same energy. You talk around, you talk towards. Here's the thing: you talk towards, you talk at the brothers, but then when it comes to the others, you talk around them. You try to give them a way out. Then you say, "Well, let's not jump to the conclusion." Why is it that you know what I'm saying? You know, a saltine get the benefit of the doubt. Somebody from the mayonnaise nation, milk of magnesia, you know, village. But when it comes to the brothers, we're demonized, we're condemned, we're convicted before the facts come out. Hey, I heard this so-and-so. Oh, he did it. Wait a minute, you don't know what he black, he did it. And then they will enhance something. A video may turn up of Damian Lillard, you know, accidentally, you know, shorting somebody like 5 cents on a pack of M&M's. I just can't believe Damian Lillard did something like that. I mean, come on, man. It's 5 cents, man. Why do you just, you know, come on, man. You gonna have this long lecture, long thought out panel about 5 cents. It did, but if it's a white dude that may accidentally short somebody, oh man, it's just 5 cents, man. Who cares, man? It's not like they're gonna go out of business over 5, but they're gonna be like, I've never seen nobody like Damian Lillard cheat a store out of 5 cents. You see the difference, you guys? You see the difference? You see the difference? How they do? How many times did we see this on a regular basis? So that's why I'm not talking about really Von Miller. That's why I was hesitant to tell people, be careful how you talk about John Morant. Now, I promise you it's going to be an incident with some white boy in a gun, and I promise you it's going to be a totally different demeanor. Now, see, here's the thing. ESPN right now, since all eyes is on them, and basically shout out to my brother Torian Rain for jumpstarting the whole movement on going after ESPN and calling them out on their inconsistency because his tweet went viral about Malika Andrews. And everybody picked the story up. And what did Malika Andrews do? Run for cover. But she be trying to talk all that tough girl talk when it comes to brothers, though. Oh, I've been, well, you know, everything. Listen, it was a shakedown. The family trying to shake Josh Giddey down there. The NBA already pretty much then made it clear that they're going to protect him. Once again, we shouldn't let off on the NBA. We shouldn't let off on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Josh Giddey should be suspended due to the fact that there's a lawsuit, due to the fact that there was an investigation. That's enough. The collective bargaining agreement says conduct detrimental to the league. Now that they got an investigation, now that they got people talking about it, and now this is what you would call a crisis, that justifies Josh Giddey being suspended. I would back off a little bit if Adam Silver said, you know what, just on GP, just due to the fact that he got the NBA running an investigation and discussing this thing, there's enough for at least a 5-game suspension. But keep in mind, once again, John Morant wasn't arrested for anything. One of the guns he had wasn't even real. And then we don't even know whether the other gun was loaded neither. How do we know that wasn't how do we know that wasn't a fake gun? I didn't see him, take out the clip and show a magazine with ammo in it. Then people said, well, it's not about him having the gun. It's about how he held the gun. That don't make any kind of sense. So if he had properly held the gun, listen, either you can show guns or you're not, or you can't. First of all, he's of age to own a firearm. He's 24 years old. Once again, it's not against social media policy to show firearms on social media. So I'm still waiting for the NBA to tell me lawfully and illegally what did he do wrong. But once again, you had Charles Butterbiscuit Barkley going in on him. You had Shannon Sharp. You had other people. You had Shaquille O'Neal. They wouldn't shut up about John Morant. But they've been real quiet about Josh Giddey. But that's mainstream media for you. We'll see. Here's the thing. There's Kwame Brown and Gilbert Arenas. They have nothing to lose now. Gilbert Arenas, he has his money. Kwame Brown has his money. Dez Bryant, I hope he took care of his money. They know that they're not going to ever be welcome to remotely do anything that's, tied to the NBA or professional basketball. So basically they at the I give two fucks stage. I don't give a fuck now. And Gilbert Arenas, he don't care. He got a podcast, is a successful podcast, and it's doing decent numbers, and he's making money. So he doesn't need the NBA. And he completely understands that. You got to understand with truth comes a price. You're not allowed to tell the truth, especially when you work in the entertainment business for the most part. You have to put on a facade. You have to lie. You have to be fake. And that's all we see in here, brothers and sisters. That's it. I want y'all to know that. See, the difference between me, I don't work for anybody. I don't work for anybody. I have very few sponsors. Now, don't you think if the big wigs come, I'm going to have to, make adjustments? I would love a Reebok endorsement. I would love a Nike endorsement. I would love to get those big endorsements. But if it means compromising my channel, if it means that I can't say what I want to say or been saying for the last 8 years, then at the end of the day, technically that makes me a sellout or I'm compromising myself. But I understand that when you work in the entertainment business, to a certain degree, you have to compromise yourself a little bit. It all depends on how far you willing to go. You have to bend a little bit, but don't be broken. Or should I say, especially don't be buck broken. I already said this on several occasions. You can only be so militant dealing in the entertainment business unless you own and operate everything. If you a writer, director, producer, actor, and you own a chain of movie theaters, then to a certain degree, you don't have to worry about people coming after you, and you know who the people are. I have to tell this to everybody. Malcolm X told us this. We cannot put all our stock into celebrities. We cannot expect celebrities to save us, because if we do, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. They only can do so much. Like I said, you can't expect guys like Ice Cube and other people. They only can do so much. They only can say so much, because at the end of the day, they still have to go through them people. And you know what people I'm talking about. It's two type of people that you have to go through in Hollywood in the entertainment business. You know, and you know which group of people I'm talking about. You know which two run the entertainment business, whether it's out in the open or not out in the open. You know what I'm talking about. So once again, you cannot expect celebrities to save you, because they, like I said, they only can go so far with being militant and being pro-black. Can't do it. Yeah, Stevie, you know who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. Right on, Damien. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Self-efficient, self-reliant. At the end of the day, and we should all strive to be that way, to where we don't have to depend on them people. But once again, that's the point that I was trying to make, and I'm glad you understand. Yeah, exactly, showbiz. You understand. You know the play. You only can go so far, and if you say too much, you mysteriously have a heart attack, or the brakes in your car go out for some reason. You a victim of some kind of drive-by, and you don't have no gang affiliation whatsoever. You know, so just saying. Michael Jackson was one of the healthiest people out there. Him and Prince, and then they mysteriously turned up. Well, mysteriously, uh, you know, ended up in the upper room. So you have to be careful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Listen, Stevie, we all know we all know that we all know is some suspicion to how Prince ended up where he was, and Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson took care of himself. Prince took care of himself, and then they both mysteriously ended up in at the morgue. Anybody ever look at Prince? Prince took care of himself. Prince looked the same way when he passed, the same way he looked like in 1984. Oh, Orlando Brown, he gonna be Orlando Brown. I'm gonna tell you right now, Orlando Brown gonna eventually. I hate to say it, Orlando Brown and Jaguar Wright. I'm just telling you, don't be surprised. That's all I'm gonna say. I know people say that they crazy, but some of the stuff that Jaguar Wright be talking and Orlando Brown, it be spot on. Well, well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Prince took care of himself, and so did Michael Jackson. But they kind of pretty much admitted that Michael Jackson was deleted. Like, I mean, it's kind of like fact now. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not really up for discussion. It's kind of like factual now, you know? Oh, yeah, I remember with Bill Cosby. Well, that's what I'll be trying to tell you. I know too much about that industry. And one day I'm going to just tell what I know. I don't care what happens to me. I'm just keeping it 100, you know? But anyway, you guys, I'm going to take a breather. I'll be back in like 30 minutes. Malika Andrews is next.